Well, it's Grandpa Ricky. It's a Sunday morning, and I'm having so much fun on my COVID staycation. Uh, Having time to do what I've always wanted to do, and going, just letting my ADHD lead me wherever it goes. And this video is about something that really caught my eye yesterday. I've been trying to using hypnosis and a guy by the name of Albert Nuremberg. I've been trying to get to a dimension of my inner universe where spontaneous healing happens, and I visited there before. I tried growing dark hair in my white hair, and over a 4-hour period, I got some dark hairs happening up there, and some warts went away. What I'm trying to do is to get into this dimension so I don't have to take 23 medications, and I'll stop having growth declines and having more growth spurts in my physical plane. So yesterday, I was feeding Felice the cat, and I usually take this can of this gooky smelling stuff and I toss it down and I chop it up with the can and I put the can down. Well, when I put the can down, I hurt a wasp, and the wasp was lying there, writhing in I don't know, pain or whatever. And then this thing started to happen. The other wasps came around, and they would stand in front of this wasp, and they would look at the wasp, eye to eye, and sometimes they would mount the wasp and push down on its I forget the name of it, the back part where the stinger is, and they would push down on that, and these other wasps took turns doing that, and the injured wasp was twisting and turning and using its legs to push down and around the end of the wasp. And so I started to look at this, and I put on a second pair of glasses. Like if you wear two glasses at the same time, it starts to act like a magnifying glass. And I watched this for a good half hour, and eventually the wasp could walk again, and and this whole process kept up. The other wasps, some other wasps would check in occasionally, and sometimes the wasp would go into where it was sunny and then into where it was shady, and it was incredible. And guess what? The wasp ended up flying away. Now, what happened? I don't know. I didn't see any blood or any goo or anything like that. But clearly the wasp had some damage. And it reminded me of a book called Message from Down Under. I made a video about this book. I talked to the author in person, and she told me she had to recant the book, or the Australian authorities would have gone looking for this indigenous tribe. And in the book, she described something which really caught my attention and appealed to past lives that I'm in touch with about healing. I was a healer, teacher, visionary warrior in many lives, and a monk, and anyway. And she told about this fellow who she watched fall into a gorge or a gully or something, and he broke his arm here, and the bones were sticking out. It's called a complex compound or compound complex fracture, and blood and everything else. And this indigenous tribe just stopped everything. People gathered around. They sang this guy's songs. They cuddled him, cradled him, put these special stuff on his wounds. And the next day, his skin was healed up, and he was able to carry on, and his arm was healed. And so Deepak Chopra, I think, talks, he's got a story about a guy who got electrocuted and killed, and came back and regrew his foot. Anyway, there's more going on than we think. And it's not the Twilight Zone. I think it is in our expanded universe, and we have to keep expanding. I've learned that. And I watched this wasp, one more thing. I watched the wasp, and sometimes it would seem to shrink, and other times it would get bigger. What's going on? And I wasn't hallucinating. I wasn't drunk or anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to call up my friend Mona, my friends Mona and Derek, because she's a bee expert, and maybe she knows something about this. So use your curiosity, and please make some videos about your curiosity and about what's turning your crank. We got to find some new ways to turn our crank. Ta-da. Okay. Thank you very much. Share yourself, expand. You'll have a much better time. Bye.